Welcome to Twitchside Chat episode 11. The topic for today, I put the word out, and Brick was kind enough to give me some talking points, and I decided to take it and run with it. And Jailer Games and myself thought it'd be kind of cool to put together a game. We could borrow whatever we want, like from other games that are in the system, or in our Zeitgeist or whatever, or come up with something completely original. I've got some talking points up in the Discord here. With me, joining me today is Pac-Man, Brick, and Average Bear, Altered Edge's own Average Bear. He's a brother that produces content for Altered Edge, which is a Australian esports group. Definitely go check them out. They got some pretty cool merch too. But anyway, that shameless plug aside, let's get right into it. The first up is going to be Pac-Man. I'm going to throw him underneath the bus right now. So,
because I remember you saying what we were going to talk about today, and then I just never thought about it again.
all right. Okay, so the rules of this is basically, give it a thought, from the music perspective, mechanics, settings, story, scope, and why for each. Try to limit yourself to about 5-ish minutes. And you can also borrow elements from other games and just kind of mishmash them together. That's why we're going to call it the Frankenstein game.
All right, let me just read this thing you put on Twitchside agenda here.
Okay.
Maybe someone else can go first, and then I can come second or something.
I caught him mentally flat-footed. He rolled 1. That's an automatic critical fail. All right. Well, Brick, you're up.
Okay. I'll start. Okay. So I really like sandbox games. So I'm gonna do kind of a sandbox style multiplayer type thing. I like the Sea of Thieves elements and the style of that, where you have kind of 3 basic weapons, or 4, I guess: sword, pistol, blunderbuss, sniper. The open world PvE, PvP options. It's first person. So I kind of want to do something like that. Not a lot of RPG in there, because everybody's a pirate. But maybe toss in some RPG type stuff where you can choose your country of origin, add more to like if you want like a Chinese looking ship, or a real like merchant looking ship type stuff. If you know what I'm talking about.
Right. So like cargo haulers or something like that, not just straight up pirate.
You can kind of throw more ships out of that way. There was a content creator who took Sea of Thieves and they created like a mini game inside of it, and I really loved that idea. So having that in there was cool. So basically, you have your crew, but one of the members is a spy. So you're kind of like a team game. It's a team versus team type of thing.
Damn.
So basically, your crew of 4, you have objectives to complete, and you get points. Well, one of those 4 is the spy, and they also have objectives.
Oh, so it's kind of like it's kind of like a mix mash between like real world Sea of Thieves, like Colombian, or no, what is it? What was the Cambodian pirates or whatever that broke the news for a bit, and then you throw in like an Among Us type thing.
It's an Among Us type thing. So anyway, the spy has his own objectives. That's basically subtracts points from the crew as a whole.
Oh, damn.
And the crew basically has to figure out, they set a time limit. They have like an hour and a half to do all their to play the game basically. And they had an hour and a half to figure out who the spy was and lock him in the brig and stop them from doing things. So I really like that. So having something like that you can select as part of a game would be awesome. So I like the Sea of Thieves idea, pirate type game. The first person shooter, add a little more RPG to it.
Well, like talent points or skills?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, so obviously you don't want to create anything, especially in a multiplayer game, that is going to create an advantage. So as far as like skill trees and stuff, I know that, obviously with true RPGs, there's a huge, you have skill trees and everything for different classes. But because there's only there's 4 weapons, there's not like a lot of wonky stuff in the game.
Right.
I don't know if I'd want to go too much into a skill tree, unless it included building your ship, like a shipwright type of thing or whatever. You could have.
Ooh, that'd be kind of a cool profession, kind of like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, your ship could have like so many upgrades, and it's obviously not pay to win. You just like you level up by playing the game, and you can kind of progress in this type of thing. And there's a stopping point. I know
Okay.
there is a game, I don't know what it is, that's coming out that has that or something, but it was very pay to win, and it was apparently it was horrible.
Yeah.
So I really like that kind of aspect. So if I had to Frankenstein that, I'd take Sea of Thieves, add a little more RPG to it.
Was it Skull
obviously
and
keep-
Bones?
I don't know. It could have been Skull and Bones. No,
Well,
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones is not
isn't
out
it?
yet, and it's in development hell actually.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if it
Ubisoft
was-
is dropping the ball on that. Last I
Yeah.
heard, so
I don't know exactly, but yeah, I would do something like that. Like I really like too. So you've been trying to get me to play Tiny Tina's forever, and I've been really enjoying that game.
yeah.
Really fun.
Oh, dude, it
so
is.
if I could throw a D&D type aspect into that sandbox, that would be awesome. So you have your decision makings and stuff like that. So like, oh, you are on this path, there might be a foe ahead, or you turn and fight this other actual player ship type of thing. So kind of give like a D&D aspect, which I think would be really fun to try to implement. I know the game like has like the dice in there for fun, but what if the dice actually did something?
Right.
It'd be kind of cool. Or it affected like you're looting an outpost and you roll dice and it affects the types of supplies. And
It gives you
get
kind of like a
when you first
modifier
start
type
them.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I would take Sea of Thieves and Frankenstein it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my Frankenstein.
All right. Okay. Cool. And you made it within 5 minutes. I'm proud of you.
I hope I did.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. So Pac-Man, you ready, or do you want Bear to go second?
I'll do my best.
All right. That's all I can ask for.
All right.
What you got, Pac?
So I like first-person shooter games with some sort of base building aspect.
Okay.
That's why I'm actually liking Sons of the Forest so much.
Right.
And Tiny Tina's Wonderland would be, I don't know if they could build that aspect into it, but
Which
first-person shooter, it's great.
oh, so the first-person shooter aspect of Tiny Tina is mixed in with some Sons of the Forest survival building mechanic.
I'm actually leaning more towards like a Minecraft. You have to go out, gather all the materials.
Like Ark?
I haven't played much Ark.
Okay. Fair enough.
I
Same
was thinking
idea.
more, yeah, like Minecraft. You actually have to mine for stuff, and that'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
And the weapon system, I like a good weapon system. I actually kind of like how Generation Zero did their weapon system.
Yeah.
With the incremental grades of the weapons, you could upgrade certain parts of the weapon, upgrade them.
The attachments and the different ammo uses, and with
Yeah, and you
and the
can-
effects. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Sons of the Forest has that with shotgun, slugs, and
Oh, they have a rail and a scope.
yeah, but they also have different ammo for the shotgun, slugs,
they
and
do, yeah.
buckshot. Yeah.
I think a lot of FPS games have moved to that different types of ammo stuff. Like, I know Call of Duty, for example, you have like your incendiary, your hollow point, you have frangible. There's like FPS games in general, I think, are starting to move towards that type of like weapon building system. We
Make
have
them
so
more
many
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many like stupid attachments that these guns have. It's like-
attachment, man.
Yeah.
I have a million sights. Why would I want a sniper scope on my pistol? No,
just
thank
want-
you.
I
But
just
like,
want the tactical spork.
there you go. Exactly.
Work.
I'm gonna tape this tactical spork right on the butts on the butt so that when I butt stroke somebody, I can gouge out their eyeballs.
No, dude, not even that. Is that a bayonet? No, it's a
Yeah,
sport.
you put it on the suppressor, man. So it's like a bayonet.
I will silently
got
eat your brain. You got sport. That's worse than teabagging. Shit, you just got
Brings
sporked
a-
to death.
Dude, could you imagine?
Brings a whole new
Oh,
meaning to let him cook.
Oh shit!
Oh man.
bro. Okay,
Wow.
quick side note. In Sea of Thieves, they added a freaking spatula as a sword and
They
a
did?
spoon
Yes.
as a peg leg.
Oh my
Yes.
god! Wait a
That's
minute!
awesome.
Wait! What about Burgle? Burgle with that spatula would be
Hey, yeah.
like
Grounded.
Burgle would be like the grounded version of Claptrap.
That's
He's dangerous with that
that's
spatula.
essentially what he is.
Right on, Kish. Where you at, man? We're waiting on you, brother. We're sitting there just shooting the shit. Come on in.
Oh, I should probably pull up your stream so I can see what the hell's going on. I'm gonna mute this. or else
Nothing's
it's gonna
going on.
Blow my fucking ears out.
Yeah. Well,
we
I
go.
got the music down. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Kish, come on into Chaos and Insanity on the Discord, man. The more the merrier, bro. So is that yours? Pac-Man, or you got anything to add to that? What about music? What about feel? What's your
Yeah, one more thing. I actually
feels?
just installed this Viserafest. I haven't played it yet, but I've downloaded it.
Oh.
And with your praise on the music that people you know who've done a lot of the music in that game, I do like the, what are they, like, fight to the beat kind of games.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's not, is that fight to the beat kind of thing? Or is it
not
just
no,
good
not
music?
really. Yeah, it's just good music. Okay, so Marky
Okay.
Music did chapter 1, and then Jeffrey Day did chapters 2 and 3. And
What are we talking about?
we're talking about Viserafest and about music and how it adds to the game.
Wasn't Hellsinger?
Yep, Hellsinger was to the beat, and the more
What was the
you're
other
on
one?
beat,
Oh, Hi-Fi Rush.
yeah, Hi-Fi Rush was another
Yeah.
one. I haven't played Hi-Fi Rush yet, by the way. I know Geek Ranger has, and he liked it. But Metal Hellsinger actually took a lot of awards, and it seems to me that they built the game around the music, and they did it right. But no, Viserafest, that just once you get into the jab, whatever, you're getting into the groove, you can really hit it. But man, that's a hard game. Point here, and it keeps music really adds a lot of production value, no matter what it is. Streaming games or whatever, it just changes the feel for sure. There's this movie out there called Heat, and it's got this gun run and gun section in downtown LA, and you watch it, it's amazing, the sound design, the echoing, the bullets and everything, whatever. There's no music at all, it's just the sound design. It's amazing, right? And then I dare anybody to watch that segment. It's like a 10 to 15 minute long segment in the game or in the movie, and then mute it and watch it. It's like watching a completely different movie. Games are a lot like that. So, yeah, I mean, music definitely adds to the ambiance, if I can use that word.
100% of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You pause the music or you stop the music in a scary movie. It's not scary anymore.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No more drop jump scares or anything like that. It's like, oh, cool. You popped out from behind a wall. Sweet.
Right. Okay, Bear. What else you got? Was that it?
Here.
Was that it?
Well, I guess just to sum it up, I want a game that kind of has building like Minecraft, but the first-person shooter aspect, and guns like Generation Zero and Tiny Tina's.
Okay.
About it.
I like it.
Okay. Well, Bear, what do you got, man?
Trust me, I have been thinking about and planning my perfect game for years. So I'm torn between two worlds, right? So
Literally the game?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, man, I was gonna flame you for that.
No, I am desperately in love with first person shooters, especially ones with the BR aspect, right? And not just because they're the battle royale. But
okay.
not just because of them
We
being
love that Apex.
yeah, but not just because of it being a battle royale, but I like the RNG part of it. That's one of my favorites, where everybody gets into the game and it's an equal playing field, and you kind of just there's a luck portion to it, right? That random number generator, like the dice roll that Brick was talking about, right? And unlike where stuff spawn, you could hop in and not get a gun, and you could be the best player in the lobby, but it's hard. It's hard to bring hands to a gunfight. Yeah. So I really like that, and the fact of being like a big map that everybody can be in on, and not have someone that's running that has like a 1060 or 1060 Ti or something that it's not going to crash their whole system. You know what I mean? But my favorite game of all time is Skyrim, because there was just so much you could do in that game. You could literally not do a single one of the main missions if you didn't want to, and you could just go and be a baker. Like there's
Right.
you could do whatever you want. You could go and just adopt like 8 kids and just raise them. You could literally do anything. And And then obviously having the modding aspect to it is going to be huge, because like I would want like my perfect game to have
That's a good
the
call.
player, the actual community
Yes.
be able to put the stuff into the game that they want. And the big thing that I don't like about a lot of like the big companies and big titles is they'll have like a modding section, but then or people will crack the game and mod it and make a modded version of it. But then like the good parts about it, the big, you know, wins in the modding section, they never incorporate into the game, right? And like they just started doing that in Apex as well. People made a modded version of Apex. And they're bringing like, yeah. Oh my gosh, they have so many awesome game modes and stuff, but they just don't listen to like the community is like, hey, we love this part about the modded game,
Yeah.
and they won't put it into the real game. But so I would definitely want to have that. I'd like to have a lot of like the RNG section of it, right? Kind of making it random, making it like, you know, where almost every encounter you have is not going to be like a progression based, where there's not going to be a giant skill gap to it. As far as like, you look at games like CSGO or Rainbow Six, right? And dude, if you haven't been playing that game like Rainbow Six for the last 6 years, and you're trying to start now, it's going to be rough.
Well, that's
you know what I mean.
Well, that's a problem with feature creep that shows up in a lot of long-lived games.
Yeah.
You know, feature
And
creep.
so-
You know, it gets more and more and more, and then players are competing against each other, and then the developers, games as a service is actually on the way out, from what I can tell. But I mean, so I'm hearing like a multiplayer battle royale Skyrim-esque moddable experience.
So think
that's
think
pretty
about
amazing.
Think about Skyrim, right? Like that world, but with it not being, set with just like swords and bows and arrows and stuff, but having it be like, with guns, right? A first person shooter. And having it where like you have the PvE and the PvP, right? You have like NPCs you can interact with, all this kind of stuff, but you also have like the player versus player stuff. And every encounter you do, if you like go to an island and you're trying to like, you get into a fight at the island, your loadout is going to be like literally almost kind of like what Brick was talking about, with like it's going to be a random, right? Like I don't care if it's like a like an actual like, hey, hit the like the loot box from Call of Duty Zombies, where it just gives you a random gun,
Yeah, the
right,
mystery
with a
box.
random attached, the mystery box. Or if it's like you go in and like you have to just kind of find stuff and use what you have on like the island that you're going to, loot, or island you're going to like build something on or whatever.
Well, hang on,
and just
though.
kind of have every encounter random.
I'd like to add a little bit of something into your game there.
Yeah.
What about using situational awareness as a weapon? Back in the day, ninjas would just use the environment to their advantage. That's one thing that wasn't really well implemented in Skyrim in the first place.
Yeah, like being able to grab a stick off the ground instead of collecting it and using it to make something, you can just smack a dude with a stick.
Or just scaling a tree and then surprise motherfucker, whatever. So or chopping down, like, I know we're going to be talking about Sons of the Forest a lot, but chopping down, looking at the wind blowing the ever living snot out of the leaves of the trees.
Oh yeah,
it's insane to see that. Like I don't think any other game has had that much.
And I think one of the biggest keys too is like, although I really enjoy like RPG, like single player RPGs like Skyrim and like Cyberpunk and stuff like
Fallout.
that have like or Fallout that have a skill based system. In a game like that where it's like it's like PvP and PvE, if you had a skill tree, that's when you're gonna get those skill gaps, right? You're gonna have the players like Destiny that have maxed out equipment and weapons, and you load in there and it's your first time, or you just switch to PC from console and on a new account, and you're like, well, I can't do anything fun.
Oh yeah, trust me, I just did that.
Yeah, so that's why I think
actually.
having like that RNG would be huge, and it's gonna be like a most of your skill-based stuff is going to be intangibles, right? Like perception, situational awareness, stuff like that. But like when it comes to fights, that's where it's going to be like, you could end up with dual shotguns on an open field, and they get dual snipers, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, individual player skill kind of goes into that. That's why CS:GO
Sure,
and
of course.
all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But there's one game that actually has that kind of found a way around that, and it didn't require you to grind out to get skills, and it was EVE Online. Just as long as you had a subscription, you could train skills, offline. And then when you come back online, depending on what skills you had, that denoted or allowed you to put better and better stuff on your ship or even fly different ships. Like, when I stopped playing, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago, I forget when, but I was able to get into a command carrier, and I was paranoid because I've been playing the game for 14 years. But like somebody, who, like a group of guys, that started playing the game like less than a year, could have trained into a combat stealth bomber, and then just totally completely wrecked my day. And then I'm out literally a $5,000 ship.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is competition, and there's I think that's what CCP, not to be confused with the country, but the developers, EVE Online did a really good job trying to balance that. So you can get up and going fairly quickly.
Yeah, Kish, I'm gonna make a comment because I hate to say this because
Kish is in
I'm
here.
not a huge
He's a bear.
Bear. Sorry, Kish, Bear. My bad. I'm looking at chat and I see Kish. I'm thinking Bear. Bear. I hate to say this because I'm not a huge fan of the game, but did you see what Fortnite announced like today or yesterday with the creative mode? Dude, you will have a heyday. Like literally, you can make any game, and it's like Creative 2.0 or something. Look it up. Like you can. People were talking about how you can create any game. Like somebody is going to make a Halo BR.
Well, it sounds to me like
they did a Roblox.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was just gonna say.
Yeah,
that's Roblox.
They put a Roblox feature into it.
Yeah. But I know nothing about the actual Roblox game or anything. I just saw like a lot of people were very hyped about this and the things they could do with it.
Right.
So like all of these games we're Frankensteining right now could be a reality if we put the time and effort and actually figured out how to freaking do it.
The problem with that though is that I have no desire to play Roblox or engage in that ecosystem. So
well, I don't know. Like I said, I know nothing about it or whatever. I know it's not exactly Roblox, but to me it seems like almost a better version of like Halo Forge. You can build your own maps and stuff. You're getting this. You can build a game mode or something. It's that game modification you were talking about. You can build what you want into this.
Okay, so that's all cool, but I think mine takes the cake. I've given this a lot of thought, same as Barrett has for his, and actually, I would be excited to play any of those games. But like, if this game that I'm about to outline comes out and yours come out at the same time, hypothetically speaking, I'd be like, yeah, your shit is trash, mine is better. But here's what I got.
You sir.
So this is Pragmus's dream game. All right. So it's gonna be a space thing because I'm of that age. Because I'm space crazy. Hey now, yeah. I was being on that yeah, as old as time. I've been around since.
If I had a jar of dust and Prag next to me, I think the dust might be younger.
I've been around since God's puppy. God's dog was a puppy. No,
let's be honest. You copied off of Jesus in math class.
What are you talking about? He copied off of me. Do you know who my dad is? I can't get in trouble. Anyway.
Yeah. Prag was 2 grades higher than him, bro.
Oh man, we're gonna have to change the name of this stream to freaking rip on Prag. Damn. All right, so here's my dream game. Here's my dream game. Okay, so it's gonna have on-foot gameplay, much like Hellion. Now, for those of you who aren't initiated, I actually have some slides. Hellion was a space survival game, and you had to worry about explosive decompression. Is there any screenshots? There's no screenies? Son of a bitch. Anyway, you had here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So these are the the only reason why I have this game is because I backed it when it was in beta, and the company who played who put it together went bankrupt. But you had to worry about explosive decompression. You had to worry about oxygen. You had to worry about scrubbers. You had to repair the subsystems in your space station, and yes, you could construct your own space station. You had 2 different ships. One of them was a tug where you could go and you're like, hey, this thing is in retrograde. I need to snatch it because you had to worry about Newtonian physics. It's the only thing I didn't like about the game. So you could actually fly up, dock to the segment of the space station that you wanted, disconnected it, and then you could haul it back to where you're going to build your space station. I want that. Okay. And let's see. In space stations and or ships, along with base building space, and the base building in space would be building your satellite. Whatever, ISS, build whatever the hell you want, recreate anything like that, right? So you got satellite construction and docking a la ISS. Walking in and designing your own ships would also be pretty cool. It has a gameplay loop much like Fallout 4 where you run out, grab materials, bring them back to your base, build. You get experience out of it, whatever, and go about it. And then it would just basically encourage, the gathering of the materials. I'm reading this, by the way. Also, it has cooperative gameplay content to encourage multiplayer actions, and it'd be specifically cooperative. So like 8 people could get in and build their own thing or work on one big, huge old mega structure in space or whatever. But for the PvP people who, got because everybody likes, to affect other people adversely, right? So like having like an arena, like a place set aside where PvP is set, whatever. It's like, all right, it's like, you guys are in a bar, right? And somebody, insults your mother or your sister, or calls you a fatty boombalatti. It's like, all right, let's take this outside. Gentlemen's rules. Okay, the fight doesn't start until you're outside. Boom. Okay, same holds true in this game. It's like, all right, listen, I'm tired of your, flapping the gums. Let's settle our differences in the arena. So you have a 1v1, and people who are there can start taking bets. And whoever wins those bets, of in-game currency or materials or whatever, would actually be awarded to whoever won the bet. I thought that'd be kind of cool, along with team combat. Lately I've been doing a lot of CQC and Elite Dangerous, so that's obviously coloring this right now. So absolutely no pay-to-win microtransactions, no microtransactions whatsoever, none. Like maybe cosmetic stuff. But I'm, some of that can get a lot squiffy because people getting cosmetics for like guns to make them black, so corner campers can be in a dark room and just wait for people to walk by and shoot them. That's BS. But anyway,
oh, you hate Call of Duty. We get it.
Yeah, I most certainly do. I mean, I'm not here to yuck your yum, but my personal opinion is Call of Duty is trash.
A damn rose skin.
All right. So I want to be able to encourage experimentation. Now, not only is it going to be on space, but you are going to be able to like transition a la No Man's Sky onto planets and have like a terrestrial base, right? Walk around, first-person combat. Like first-person shooters. Don't get me wrong, Call of Duty does do first-person combat very well, very tight gameplay. The piloting profile would be exactly like Elite Dangerous, depending on your ship. The contours and the way the ship handles the flight profile of the ship will actually change depending on what you have on your ship and what you have it customized with. But bar none, the piloting profile that Elite Dangerous has in game for all its different ships, maneuverability, pitch rate, yaw rate, all that stuff, boost rate, speed, it's the chef's kiss. It's perfect. So the story would be focused on exploration, discovery, and the mystery. So like it's almost like find the relic type thing. Okay, well, where's the relic? Well, the only way you're going to find the relic is if you take part in the lore of the game, and the clues to find the relic will actually be embedded in the lore. Much like what would it be? Oh hell. I had it in my mind literally 20 minutes ago, but I forgot to write it down. This is why I write shit down. But anyway, you win the game by finding this relic and then deciding what to do with it, and then that will split off into different endings for the game. And then, of course, after you get done, your world is your world, and you keep on playing in it, whatever it may be. Music. This is key. I put a lot of thought into this. So, majestic operatic instrumentals during normal space operations. But in space combat, it's EDM. Like EDM dubstep type thing, hard hitting, like lasers, or like, God's Calling, maybe, right? On foot, non-combat music would be understated and muted, so that you can actually take in on audible cues to find out where things are of interest. And on foot combat will have, or high stress situations like explosive decompression. If you're in a 0G environment and all of a sudden a seal blows, you're gonna get sucked out. When that happens, the music cues up, and it's going to be like urgent heavy metal style stuff that's going to raise that tension and that stress and the anxiety. But that would be my perfect game. It doesn't neglect the space stuff, and it doesn't neglect the terrestrial stuff. Landing on planets. No Man's Sky. When I first started playing that game, I incessantly up into the black, back down to the earth. That whole transition with no loading screens is just amazeballs. So that's my take on what my perfect game would be.
So I have 2 questions
for you. And I'm going to add this because of you, Bear.
Uh-oh.
Modability. If you want your spaceships to look like X-Wings, you can do it. If you want it to look like shit from Babylon, you can do it. Hell, you can even mix and match. You want Babylon, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Star Wars, and whatever other space stuff, you can do it.
I want my spaceship to be My Little Pony, and you can
emperor.
deal with it.
I can be the emperor.
Yes. Yeah, you can if you wanted to.
Do it.
So that's my game.
I got 2 questions for you on it.
Okay.
One was on the the building aspect you were talking about.
Right.
I wanted to know like how in depth would you imagine it being? Were you thinking kind of like Call of Duty customizing guns, where you have like a preset for each section of like your ship or your base, like a list of dozens of presets that you can kind of pick to customize it, or were you thinking more like kind of like like super in depth like car mechanic simulator, where it goes down to like the nuts and bolts and stuff like that, and like repairing and whatnot?
Well, all right. So
those are two completely different communities that are going to be attracted to it based off of what it is, and going to be deterred based off of
you overcomplicate those weapons like down to the action, the trigger, and all that. Like barrel.
Well, I'm thinking more like the bases and like the spaceships and stuff.
Okay, so all right, so bases, like in space, is completely fucking modular. Okay. And then of course you can modify each module to do certain things, right? Much like you can do, fitting a ship in Elite Dangerous. It's like, okay, I got this multi-role ship. What do I want to fit with? Well, I want, I can do everything, but I want to go ahead and make this a specific thing to do this role, right? Whatever that role might be. But like, say, you get it like a med bay. A med bay would operate as a spawn point if somebody dies, right? So when somebody dies, that med bay will respawn them in. They get out, and then there's like services right there in that module, in that satellite or space station or whatever. And there's going to be perks there. It's like, all right, well, it's got a fabricator in here, and that fabricates X, Y, and Z. All right, so now you're set up for doing whatever your gameplay your focus is, right? Or conversely, like a command center. It's like, okay, well, the command centers are a traffic control area where you can actually tell ships to dock at certain places, and you give permissions, whatever, to your friends who come up to dock and trade, for whatever. But in that command center, if you're, thinking, trying to, if you're in a combat area where NPCs will come and raid you, okay, well, I need to install, base turret defenses, and I need to be able to control that. So you're going to do that in the tactical station on the command center, right? On the air traffic control. So you have good view of what's going on, like a 360 degree view of what's going on that side of the space station, right?
Okay, like a third person view.
No. This is all in first person, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then maybe later, if people want it, then we could probably change the code later on. And I said ignore the code, but I know that all of this is very code intensive. But like, all right, well, like Elite Dangerous, or not Elite Dangerous. No Man's Sky did a really good job with that, where you could tweak it so that if you're on foot, you're in first person. But when you get in your ship, it'll automatically go to third because there's a lot of people that like to see their ship. If you put in a lot of time in your ship, why not be able to freaking show it off on screen and stuff like that, right? But that is for the space satellite type thing. But if you got ship customizations where you got something that looks good and is functional, form over function type thing, you could probably tweak that too. Terrestrial bases, I want that non-modular. I want to be able to say, all right, I want to encourage the players to experiment and share their stuff. I mean, some of the coolest things I've seen built in the digital is on Minecraft. As much shade as I throw at that title, some of the things that players put together using the redstone and electrical systems and putting together these big structures that are completely automated, it just boggles the mind. It's like, how do they sit there and think about that? Tutorials or just experiment, whatever. They have the creative thing, that's fine too, but it's pretty cool.
The second question I had for you
was
for the story. So how were you going to make, how would you want your story to tie into the overall game? Did you want it to be something kind of like Hogwarts Legacy, where in order to get to do everything else in the world, you have to hit certain parts of the story? Or were you going to try to do something kind of like Skyrim, where it was it's there, it's its own thing, you get, you can get rewards from it and stuff, but it's not a requirement?
I want to make it optional. When somebody, all right, for me, Skyrim says, hey, go here and do that. I will do everything except that. Exactly. Fallout 4 says, go to Diamond City. I'm like, no, I'm going to go all the way freaking east, and then I'm going to shoot on down south until I hit the glowing sea. You know what I mean?
I'm going to encourage you with that. Take that mentality and play Elden Ring and let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah, see, no. Elden Ring allows you to do it, but it punishes you for, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
That wasn't the point of that game. Elden Ring is extremely hard, and it should be. FromSoft has always been like that. What I'm tossing up on screen right now is some of the screenshots of actually player built. There was actually a Starbase planner that I had bookmarked, but apparently I 86'd it when I cleaned out my computer. But this right here, I mean, you got different modules and they're coming together, and of course you have to have a mental map because when you're inside, it's very easy to lose your way. But this is an exterior view of somebody who actually put together this stuff. And they towed it back, and you had to dock right about. It's not gonna let me. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. If you look, son of a bitch, is not gonna really. All right, fine. I'll do it this way. Right there is a ACS module. It's a control thing where if you want to connect these things together, you have a camera and you actually have to dock them together and then seal them. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, and that'd be so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I mean, I've got gameplay footage of me doing that. And then
what you were talking about with the modding too, bro.
Yes,
being able to turn that right there, that space station, into the Star Wars, the Star Wars Confederate command center,
right.
command ship. That'd be
This shot here is from I believe this module. Correct me if anybody mentioned in the comments, because this is going on YouTube for sure. This is a cargo module, and I haven't been able to get it to work where I can actually dock my ship to here and be able to transfer cargo easily. But what I have done is I pulled my mule up backwards, and I made my vector match the station, because that's very complicated to do, but it's possible. And I just open up the back hatch of the mule, because it's got this ramp that comes down, and I go down to the cargo hold and I just start chucking shit out over there in 0G, and just it goes out there, whatever, and then I come back in and I just run around and grab things and put things down. But yeah, that right there is a docking port, so you can actually get your Jeffries tube on, whatever, and you have to worry about that, about gravity. And of course, if you open up one of these suckers and there's no atmosphere on the other side, and you're not like holding on to something, if you're just autopiloting it, it's like, all right, I'm gonna run through here, I'm gonna open this thing up. The doors will open and it'll suck all the atmosphere and you with it, and you basically have to, you don't have enough juice in your jetpack to get back to base, so you're like gone, which is fucking, oh my god, dude, that would always be crazy to me. It's like, but yeah, all good ideas, man, all good ideas for sure.
I would be a space pirate in your game for sure.
Oh, dude, that 100% happened. People would play on servers or whatever, and they got like this little distress call button on both their ship and on one of their modules, where they hit a distress call, and it would actually put a system-wide distress call, and it would actually call players in, and basically more than often what would happen is that players would come in and just kick you while you're down and take all your shit. But I saw somebody play, and they were at an asteroid mining for stuff, and they're like, okay, well, I don't have enough stuff to synthesize fuel, so he hit distress, and he hid, he had his ship next to the asteroid, and then he actually took all the things that he needed into his inventory, and he walked around, or he jetpacked on the other side of the asteroid after he hit the distress call, and he was peeking, and he saw the ship come in, and they disembarked from their ship and got into his ship, and then he snuck into the other guy's ship, buttoned it up, planted his command flag, and then just jetted and stranded those pirates on his busted ass, no fuel having ship. It was hilarious. But yeah, man, I think that's gonna be it for our Twitch side, man.
So that's it, guys. If you've made it this far into it, 40 minutes, my hat's off to you guys. I don't even know if anybody sees these outros, but if you are so inclined to look over on Twitch, I've got my schedule up there on the screen. You can also follow me on Twitter and Xbox, all underneath the same moniker, Pregamus. But until then, take it easy, guys. Stay out of trouble. It's a full-time job, and the pay sucks, but the benefits are worth it. Take it easy, guys.